Welcome back, my pupils. This is Gene coming to you with Reloading from the Hot Pot. Hey, today on episode 3 of Safe Queens, have I got something special for you. My friend's safe is full of these Heckler & Koch firearms. So today, we're going to be introducing you to the USP Compact M45 ACP. This Heckler & Koch USP Compact 45 ACP was introduced in 1996. And does carry a substantial amount of money to purchase one of these, but they are still available. Let's open up this beautiful black case and see what comes in it. There might be some extra things in here, or not extra things in here, that my friend has put in here, such as maybe extra magazines. It may not have come with 4 magazines, but there are 4 in here. Both of these pouches are empty, and there was no paperwork with it, actually. So we're going to have to do some research on the internet to tell you about this. But first, let's get this out of the case and take a look at it. We are going to drop the magazine. We are going to show unloaded. We're going to show there's nothing in the chamber. Everything is clear, safe to handle on the table. Let's get this case out of the way. We'll get the magazines out of the case. We'll lay it here on the table and we'll take a closer look at it. Specs on this pistol are in .45 auto. The overall length is 7.91 inches. Overall height is 5.61 inches. Overall width is 1.26 inches. The barrel length is 4.41 inches. And the sight radius is 6.34 inches. And it does weigh in at 31.29 ounces, unloaded, no magazine. The magazine does weigh 3.49 ounces, just for your information. H&K does offer 10 different variants of this particular firearm. This happens to be variant 3, which is the manual safety and the double action, single action trigger. You'll have to look the other 9 up because they come in all different kinds of configurations with decockers and safeties on the right side and the left side of the frame, as well as double and single action operation. Let's take a look around this firearm. Here we have an actually accessory rail. We've got the end of the guide rod there that is got a slot in there for a screwdriver, I would imagine. We're going to be taking that apart and taking a look at it. Got a really nice finish on the slide. It does not have front slide serrations, as most guns did not up until the last 5 to 8 years, I would say. And now they've become very, very relevant. It does only have a single side slide catch, slide release. It is not ambi in either way with the safety or the slide catch and slide release. The safety is a very positive feature. It's very positive up, very positive down, and is marked with a red F and a white S for safe and fire. As you can see on the back here, this is a hammer-fired firearm. For a polymer frame pistol, steel slide with a hammer fire. That is really nice. It is single action, double action, so in case you would have a misfire, you can pull it back in double action again to try to strike the round for a second time. The sights on it are just a white 3-dot system. It does have a nice ledge here in case you would need to rack off of something in case of emergency. But the sights for this time period are pretty standard 3-dot white sights. I do believe these are metal too, and these are just dovetailed in. So they are interchangeable even to this day. After the sights there, we're coming back here and looking at the slide serrations for cocking. Now they are not very deep at all. They are actually kind of slick, hard to get a hold of. So you have to be purposeful in what you're doing with this firearm. This is the ejector here, and when there is a loaded round in there, it does stick out, and you can see that red on there. That red, if you look down and see red, that is an indication that there is a round in the chamber. H&K was really good for doing this. The overall texture on the grip is really nice. It's a really nice sandpaper finish on the sides of it. The front and the back strap do have diamond pattern checkering on them, and is very, very grippable. It does feel very good in the hands. The bore axis on this gun is quite high. The trigger guard on these is quite spacious, and I can put my finger in and move my finger back and forth, and I have extra large hands, as you can tell with the bottom of this grip hanging up into my palm. Oh, this is going to be fun to shoot in 45 ACP, folks, let me tell you. The mag release is a little different than you're used to seeing. It's actually got a couple small serrations on each side, and that is ambidextrous. And then the magazines load in. To release them, depress that, and they come flying right out. Now they don't, because they actually hit my hand when they're on their way out. But with that on there, I can actually get a full 3-finger grip down here on the bottom with the pinky extension and the magazine. This particular magazine is an 8-round magazine. These magazines with the extended plate on them are 10-round magazines. You can definitely see that my hand fits on there just fine with the 8-round magazine. We're going to kick that out. We're going to put the 10-round in here, and now we're talking. Now we're talking. That is really, really nice. It feels good. My pinky's got somewhere to be. It's into the meat of my hand here, and that feels excellent. The slide catch release also doubles as the takedown pin, such as a 1911 style. I'm going to show you how to do a field strip down. Now I did cheat already, and I use this little tool over here to help pop this out, because you have to hold this back manually, and you've got a very, very small window to get that pin out. So we're going to take this pin out here, move that out of the way. We're going to slide forward, release the hammer, and it comes out. And there is that dreaded recoil spring and guide rod. That thing just barely sits in there. We do have plastic bushing on the front here for the captured guide rod and spring. Take the barrel out, standard as any. This is a Browning tilt style action barrel. Looks very, very clean. It does have polygonal rifling, so if you look down that barrel, see that? There's no lands and grooves in there. It's all polygonal rifling. Very, very popular in Europe for some reason. I do not believe polygonal creates as much accuracy in some instances, but in some companies, we're the exception to the rule. So to reassemble this, we're going to put this back here. We're going to try to get that back in there very, very carefully. You know how these things go with me. Slide this back on. Pull this all the way to the back. Put that pin back in. Lock it down. And function ready to go. You know what? Let's get the trigger pull gauge out on this and see what that double action and single action trigger pull's like. We already know that this is clear, so we're going to show again. All right, we are in single action mode on this, so we got my trusty Wheeler trigger pull gauge out, and we're going to take a reading with this and see where it is at. And the single action trigger pull gauge is roughly 4.5 pounds. Now let's try the double action single pull. Double action trigger pull, single pull. You know what I mean. Put it about the same spot. And it is off the charts, which means it's over 8 pounds. So that would probably put it right around 12 to 14 pound mark by the way it feels to me, but it buries this gauge out here. It doesn't have any further room to go, so we're just going to say that. But the single action trigger pull is excellent, excellent, excellent. Absolutely excellent. Comes back to a wall, breaks, and the reset on it is right there. A little long by today's standards, but remember, this is from 1996. So Heckler & Koch was very innovative in the firearms that they made. I'll tell you what, if you're watching this episode, I'll tell you what, next week is going to be something really, really special. Very special from Heckler & Koch. It's, wow. After I learned what it was, did some homework on it, I decided to homework it a lot more before I bring it to you. So this episode of Safe Queens episode 3 is featuring the USP Compact in 45 ACP. But next week's will be really, really interesting. Very interesting. Excellent polymer frame handgun here. That just looks cool with that on there, don't it? That just looks good with that magazine. These magazines, I mean, they look good. That'd be good for carry use. You know, if you want to carry this, that would be fine. But these big old extended 10 rounds of 45 ACP. And I've still got some 45 ACP loaded up from Safe Queens episode 2 with the Mark 23. So we're going to use the rest of that up. And we're going to go take this to the range. And I'll do the shooting impressions of it. And that'll come next Wednesday. This one will be airing tonight. I am late recording it because of work. But it will be coming out today, Friday. As soon as I get done with this. We're going to put it on the stand here because it just deserves to be on the hot pot stand. Just a beautiful, beautiful firearm. I want to thank my buddy for loaning me this, for this review, and for some shooting impressions. He is an HK fanatic, fanboy and a half, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. These are some nice, innovative firearms. You know, a lot of today's firearms bounce off of H&K's products. H&K did bounce off of other companies, but that's just the way it goes. You know, gunsmiths talk to gunsmiths, and companies talk to companies, and, well, companies like to watch other companies, too. You know how that rolls. All right, my pupils, that's it for today, episode 3 of Safe Queens. Yes, the H&K USP Compact and 45 Auto. ACP, whatever you'd like to call it. It's a big old slug. All right, my pupils, that's all I got for you right now. Be on the lookout for the shooting impressions of this. And I'll tell you what, episode 4 is going to be boom. Going to blow your mind. Going to blow your mind. Blew mine. Going to blow yours too. Because, man, it's a doozy. All right, my pupils, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate you. And always remember to keep blowing that smoke.